Yeah, I'm in my Durango, trying to do Uber again. Today is Sunday. Normally Sundays are not advisable, but Saturday was for some reason, which is supposed to be the best day of the week. Saturday was very slow. I started at 4:30 in the morning, and by 1, I think, or even 12, I only made $100 and decided to call it a day. And I went to an Indian restaurant and I spent most of it on some stress relieving food and medication. And so went home, watched some movies, and I wanted to go to, they still have this Halloween festival going on there on 17th Avenue. I wanted to do a live feed, but didn't feel like it Friday, didn't feel like it Saturday. And so today I woke up at like 9:30, and I'm thinking normally when Saturdays are not busy, then the next day, Sunday, is usually busy. So let me see. So I start the app and I see what's the earnings potential was, and actually it showed pretty good potential. So I had a protein shake, my plant-based protein, very good thing, with some creatine and 2 raw eggs in the mix. So that's about 22 plus 12, probably 34 grams of protein. Feeling good. Started the app in earnest. Was before we're just looking at the screen. Hold on one second. No, that was Lyft with its ride finder, where they give you super cheap rates. So it was like 2 kilometers away, the pickup, and then you drive 2 kilometers and you make $6. Like, I want at least 10, But anyway, so I started the app, had my sneakers on, my coat on, ready to go, because a lot of people get nervous when they look at your, and me included actually, when I know people, Uber drivers, are sitting at home and you book them and then it takes them like 5 minutes to get out of the house. I remember I would hate that, and you start, typing, "Are you coming?" And so now before I start the app, I usually make sure I'm ready to go. Like if it's too cold, I have the car warmed up. I put my footwear on, my coat. I make sure all my keys are on me. And so as soon as I booked this, I was just checking something online, and 10 seconds later, there's a text message from my passenger: "Are you coming?" And there's a pre-formatted answer: "I'm on my way." Boom. And I see she's like a kilometer away, 1/4 of a mile. So I go there, some not very happy but super beautiful Indian girl gets in, and I see we're going to Cross-Iron Mills, and it's like 10 o'clock, which I know for me it means it's a one-way trip, because the mall, the shopping center, opens at 9, but so at 10 nobody's gonna leave. People only going there. So she was going for work, and I took her there and we had a chat because she's trying to get her driver's license. She's new in Canada, and she was asking me about fast lane, so slow lane, speed limits. And I said, yeah, just stay within 10 kilometers of the speed limit and you should be okay. So I said, you see the sign says 70? Do not go above 80. Just stay around 77, 78. And then the chances of you getting a ticket are practically nil, unless the cop had a super bad day or bad night, or his wife left him or something, But 10 kilometers, that's my personal motto, just slightly below. So if it's 50, the speed limit is 50, I try to be under 60, like 57, 58, 59, don't go above 60. That's what works for me. I don't know. And I've had 2 speeding tickets since 1984. Okay, so that's telling you that this method works. You just have to watch the signs, especially when the speed limit changes. Let's say, and I keep talking about this, let's say on Airport Trail over here, it's right over there, Airport Trail, it's 80 kilometers an hour, but as soon as you enter the tunnel, it becomes 70. So if you're doing 90 here, you're okay, but when you enter the tunnel at 90, you're 20 kilometers over, and that's where I got a ticket one day. My second ticket in all my life. but I still haven't paid it. So the court is set for the next summer. So I'm not giving in easy. But anyway, so took that lady over to Cross-Eyed Mills and sat there for 10-15 minutes. Oh, I went inside, grabbed coffee, and I'm thinking, okay, like this is a waste of time. So I just drove back home, and I'm sitting at home, and 2 hours later, like all my apps are on, and I'm just watching some news on TV. Then the phone beeps finally. It's Uber, I think. Yeah, Uber gives me a guy, again, close by, 1 kilometer away, and he was going to the registry, Northeast registry, you know, where you go to fix your car paperwork or get your driver's license renewed, stuff like that. So a DOT office in American English. So I took that guy to the registry, and as I'm approaching, I was like a kilometer away, they give me another ride. It says 2 minutes away, which means that it's 2 minutes away from the place where I'm dropping the guy. I said, okay, accept. And so I dropped the guy at the registry and went over there, picked up a guy. And I see it's interesting that from that Northeast Savannah, I think it's called, that community, which is basically south of where I live, Skyview Ranch, but still Northeast. He was coming to casino, you know, and even though this is not a very good area, but look, there's a casino, there's a Wyndham Hotel over there, there's Holiday Inn, there's Park Inn, there's Freeport Hotel 11. Over here you have, I'm not sure what this is called, oh, Westin, and over there you have Hyatt Place, and there's another one over there, I think that's called, I forget what it's called. But over here, it's all industrial. Like, it's all industrial. There's no houses. You know, to get to houses, you have to drive away from here. And this is Airport Trail. And, of course, the airport is to my right. Oh, and farther over there in the distance, that's what it's called. I spent a month in that hotel when I was waiting for my apartment's real estate paperwork to be completed. So there's a bunch of hotels here, and we're close to the airport. But because I'm not in the waiting queue, I'm not gonna get any rides from the airport. To get rides from the airport, you have to be right there in the specified lot for Uber and Lyft. And so I'm gonna wait here maybe 5-10 more minutes and go home again. Actually, oh, and that's what I do when I deliver people to the airport early in the morning, like 6, 7, 5, you know, I know there's no flights landing. You know, so it's a waste of time unless it's somebody who's leaving airport, who's working there and did a night shift, which actually happened maybe once to me. And so it's useless to sit there once you drop somebody there real early. So all I do is I jump on this airport trail and I go east toward my area because, I don't know, like there's a lot of rental apartments over there. People rent houses. You know, people rent apartments, so they don't have cars, just like this Indian girl, my first victim, so to speak, right? She's working. She's been in Canada for 3 years, and she's still working on her driver's license. She doesn't even have driver's license, so she's using Uber whenever she goes. I don't know, how can she afford that? You know, if she probably works at a store there, I don't know, makes $20 an hour. And there's a cute Mercedes next to me. Check this out. Look at this guy. It's an open top, and it looks like it's been lowered because I don't think it's supposed to be low like that. But nice wheels, and it doesn't look very new because I see the paint is scratched at the bottom there on that little door. But, you know, it would be a beautiful car to drive. The steering wheel is made from wood, and the doors here also have some nice finish. Yeah, and this guy has a 4x4 Ram 1500, and his exhaust is probably like 5-inch in diameter, but it's not the real exhaust, it's just the tip he added on. And to me, that's always kind of like funny, you know, when you add a tip and you can see that it's a fake pipe, right? Because you can see the actual pipe under the bumper, you know. Like the proper way to do it is to camouflage use a tip where you cannot see the actual pipe, so that people will think that's your real pipe. But this way, it's just a bit ridiculous, And it's all trucks around me. Check this out. Another Ram 1500, Ford F-150, that blue one over there. Couple of SUVs over here. SUV over there. SUV over there. See, it's SUVs and trucks and minivans, and this is the only car. And a fancy one at that, even though it's old. So anyway, I've been sitting here probably 15 minutes. Time now is... Come on, give me the time, because I cannot see it on the phone. 12:30. And today it's pretty cold, only +9 Celsius, which is 48 F. Not good. So the weather keeps getting worse and worse. And so that's all I did. So from 9:30 until 12:30, with a 2-hour break while I was at home watching TV because there was no rides. So I only did 3 rides. So that girl to the Cross-Eyed Mills, and then I went back home. That guy to the registry, northeast, also like 8 kilometer ride. And then from there to the casino. That's it. And now I'm sitting at the casino. I'm probably 10 minutes away from my home. I don't know what to do. So maybe I should just check the airport. But I checked before and it said the lot is full, very long wait time. Like it showed like 50 Uber cars and only maybe 10 flights landing. And basically you'll be sitting there for 3 hours. I hate that lot, like potholes upon potholes. At least they have some toilets over there, but that's it. So not a very friendly place to wait for 2 hours, Okay, and now I'm at Best Pro Shop, at that area where I go to do my inspection. This is see, Best Pro Shop's Outpost, it's called. There's a Walmart, Canadian Tire, right? Huge area near 64 Avenue over there. The sign says this is Deerfoot Trail, Highway 2 going north. And I got lucky. I just picked up, as I was just about to leave, and I see there's a Uber gave me a ride, and it says Westin Hotel right behind me. I don't know, 300 meters away, but there was no direct connection between the 2 parking lots, so I had to go back on the main road, do a little circle, and I see there's a girl standing there, young pretty girl, and she's like in semi-military, kind of like a hunting gear like me, in pants, and she spoke with a French accent, so we had a nice little chat, and she says, "Oh, it's cool to see a Uber driver who is not Indian." A white guy. And I said, well, all Indian guys are busy driving container trucks. I don't know why I say that, but remember when I was at that container yard, and I said it's because there's only 4 locks, and they like that you don't have, I said I used to be a trucker, so that's the easiest form of trucking, because even with the dry van, when you have a dry van trailer, you still have to open doors, close doors, right, which are actually pretty heavy. You have to get, out twice, because you have to come to the dock, but leave the, 5, 6, 7 feet of space, then get out, open doors, then get back into your cab, back to the dock, right? And then sometimes you have loads which even inside the dry van you have to secure them, right? Because they have that strip, kind of like what we have, pickup trucks, the strip where you can attach the strap, right? The strip with holes, vertical holes, very handy. But when I was driving, when I was pulling a dry van, I think only maybe like once a month there was a load where they would say you have to secure it, so you just put a strap across the trailer. So basically still there's more work than with a container, what I'm trying to say, right? If you have a container, that's it. The guy that huge truck, forklift truck, puts a container on your chassis, you jump out, you flip 4 locks on each corner, and you're done. That's it. And then you go to your destination, open the locks, the guy picks up the container, that's it, you're empty. So that's the easiest way of trucking. Or I knew another guy. I think once we met for coffee in Cambridge because he was watching my videos and he just wanted to chat, like an older guy, probably back then he was like my age now, and he was independent, but all he had was a truck, you know, and I thought that would be also cool. He just had a semi truck, he had the AZ or class 1, and he was shopping on the load board for, you know, power only loads. And he said there's so much competition. Somebody's calling me, but I don't want to answer. Alberta 587. Hold on. Son of a gun. So that was my passenger was calling, this Valerie girl, because, you know, I took her here and she says, well, actually I'd be pretty quick. I just want to buy a pair of pants and then I'm going back to my hotel. Do you want me to update the trip? I said, yeah, sure. Just add a stop. You know, first Western Hotel to Bass Pro Shop, and just add the stop. And as I was pulling in, my phone beeped and it says your route was updated, and it shows
drop off updated.
Yeah, and basically she entered the thing, but then she was calling me and I didn't pick up, and so she sent me an answer saying that she's not finding what she wants. It'll take her longer. I will cancel. I'll have to cancel and give you a tip. So let me see. So there was some message right now. So I sat there at the Bass Pro Shops for, I don't know, 15 minutes. And I set up the filter. Give me rides to my home. Nothing. So I turned off the filter, meaning that I was looking for all kinds of rides. And right away, there was a Samantha customer, like 300 meters away. And I picked her and her son, and that was a kind of like the same deal as here, Spirit Halloween. It's kind of like a store, like a seasonal store where people go to buy clothes for their kids. And she says, like the same one was there, but she says they didn't have her son's size, so we're going to another one. And so I came here. So we are near Chinook Mall, so which is 20 kilometers. And I didn't see a tip, but I made 18 bucks. 18 bucks, sitting now at $56, I think since the morning. But it's a good area, super busy. There's like look at all the cars in there. Like, man, people are shopping like crazy, running there, buying clothes, you know, all kinds of. Yeah, next passenger from that Halloween place was a guy, and it says 200 meters. I did a couple of circles because I said, where are you? I'm at the Real Canadian Pizza. He says, I'm at Mexican Tacos. And I look at signs, I don't see Mexican Tacos. So basically, had to do another circle. Finally found him, and then when I click picked up, it says, Chinook Transit Station, 1.5 kilometers away. And so that's what I took him. This is the train just left. So basically, you go in there into that pavilion, you buy your ticket, and that's where you enter on that platform, and you can board LRT, Light Transit Rail. And we are next to, you know, Staples. There's Chinook Mall over there, Chinook Center, and it's a good area to be in. It's usually way busier than my northeast, because especially since this is Halloween weekend and so many people. So I hope I'll stay here. Hopefully there'll be somebody from the train that needs an Uber. It doesn't have time to wait for a bus. Yeah, my last customer was not happy with me. I got a ride right from that LRT station, but I look on the map where it wants me to go, and it says 300 meters. And turns out these were two Japanese girls. And what they did is, after they left the LRT, instead of going into the parking where taxis are, they went to the street, which is 6th Avenue. And there's a railway crossing there, or a railroad. And there was a super long train passing, and there was a bunch of cars in there. And I could see from the map where she is. I see that she's standing at 6th and 6th Avenue, but about 100 meters away from me. But for me to get close, I would have to go on the main road and get stuck in that lineup, people waiting for the train. And between her and me, there's a parking lot, but that's for buses only. There's a sidewalk in there. I cannot crawl over the sidewalk. So if I go back on the main road, and if it was possible to turn into that bus area, but there's signs, no entry, right? So then I would be right close to her. But I said, look, and I see that it's two girls. They're looking at their phone, okay? And I said, I'm next to the entrance to the LRT station. Oh, we also at the LRT station. And I said, look to your right, because I see where they are, right? So they look to the right towards me, and I turn on my flashing lights. And so they had to walk, maybe not 100 meters, maybe 50 meters. But they were not happy. They were not happy. And when they get out, it was 5 kilometers. I made $7. They slammed the doors real hard, So no tip, I guess, this time. So, but at least again, I'm still in the same area pretty much. Just now, I'm 3 miles or 5 kilometers south of Chinook Center or Chinook Mall. But it's a pretty busy area. Like I'm right next to all these, townhouses, houses. So this is good. This is south of Calgary. There's demand for taxi and Uber is much higher here than in my area of Northeast. So I'm home at 4 o'clock, but only because I stopped at a T&T supermarket. Love that place. It's crazy. It's so full of people and all this Chinese, Japanese food. But I wanted to try some original Chinese dumplings. So I got these pork, shrimp, and cabbage dumplings made by Asian Legend. So I'm gonna try them. Oh, one thing I forgot. I wanted to grab some chopsticks because then you don't have to wash your forks and stuff like that, but I forgot. Also bought some sencha Japanese tea. One lady at work told me that, this is good tea that you can buy at T&T. It's like real Japanese product of Japan. See at the bottom here, it says product of Japan. Because my tea that I bought on Amazon is coming to an end. I probably have like 5 or 6 bags left, but all in all it was super slow today. So I did 9 rides, all of them with Uber, nothing with Lyft, and I made $90. That's it. So at least it covered my grocery bill, my tea, stuff like that, and a little bit extra. So now going home, gonna figure out how to cook these dumplings and have a party.